r/AskReddit. What video game was a 10/10ths for you? Red Dead Redemption. The only Rockstar game I've ever played to 100% completion. 98% then a full hard drive failure on Xbox 360.
Claim your free AirPods today by clicking the first link in the description down below.
I loved the duck out of Halo 3. Absolutely, it had everything you could expect and more. A great story with amazing visuals and soundtrack. A multiplayer which don't want to work out how long I spent on. Plus Forge and Theater mode for some hilarious custom maps/games and a way to view those amazing moments again. The most fun I have ever had gaming was playing Halo 3. Halo 3 has got to be near the top. I knew a guy who logged at least 5k custom games. The only thing I hated was the ranking system. Play 5 games and win, and don't move up a rank. But lose one, because everyone on your team quit, and you move down a rank. SSX tricky. There has never been a better snowboarding game. Probably never will be. I still dream of an HD remake. Edit. Thank you all for making my top comment about a wonderful game. I would be happy with an SSX3 remake as well. As long as I can play Mac. Really, EA should just do an HD remake of the first 3 games. I would buy that in an instant. I have Tricky tied with SSX3. That's a remake I'd love to. I'd settle for either, but both of them would be even better. Yeah. SSX3 barely beats it for me. The first time I spent half an hour or so running through all the connected courses from the top of the mountain to the bottom was just amazing. It had all the fun of Tricky in a more grounded and realistic environment. Loved it. The Last of Us. I didn't want it to end. Truly great storytelling is so hard to come by in video games. I had to sit down and think about that ending for 30 minutes before I could do anything else. I know what you're saying, and I absolutely love the feeling. The level of interaction you can have with well-designed video games characters develops a level of empathy and connection that movies, and hardly any other media, do not come close to with their characters' emo. Video games for the win. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. 3DS version because iron boots. Clan 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 clan. GTA San Andreas. It was so much bigger than Vice City in pretty much every sense of the word. And it took itself way less seriously than the next 2 installments. It'll have 2 number 9s. A number 9 large. A number 6 with extra dip. A number 7. 2 number 45s. 1 with cheese. And a large soda. All you had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. Witcher 3. You know the sad feeling when you finish an amazing book. After getting totally immersed into its detailed world with its many unique characters and places. The Witcher 3 was the first and only game I've ever had that happen. It's truly awesome. It was pretty depressing for a while. I was so deep into discussions about different characters and all these different fan theories with other players after I finished the game just to try and fill that void. A week or so later it dawns on you what an absolutely amazing thing you just experienced. Awesome universe. I wish I could go back in time just to experience it all again for the first time. Morrowind. Great atmosphere, story, political system and soundtrack. I sold so much hit to that mud crab. Haha. I loved that game-breaking little ducker. I got so much cash I enchanted a suit that took me up to 100% plus chameleon. Had to take off my shirt and helmet just to talk to NPCs, otherwise they'd think I was just a disembodied voice and get mad. CNC Red Alert 2. That game made me love the RTS genre. Kirov reporting. There is nothing more badass than the apocalypse tank, both in name and voice lines. Bringing down the hammer. The instrument of doom. It is Day of Judgment. Soviet power supreme. Taste your mortality. Best of all, they don't have any lines for when they are killed. Utter badasses. Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. My dad and I got stuck near the end of this game. We called Nintendo, literally just the phone number on the back of the box, and asked for help. The guy that answered was super cool and explained how that was a really hard part for him too. He helped us get through it. I can't even imagine doing that now. Edit. Thanks for all the love. I didn't realize how many other people did stuff like this. I do remember the guy that answered mentioned that he wasn't really there to answer questions, but he remembered how tough the certain spot was and wanted to help. He worked for Nintendo and loved video games. Hell yes, I did this too. We had to beg our parents to let us call the hotline. I wish so much now this was still a thing, because I would love to do it as a job. Getting employed for being a video game master? Duck yes. Edit. Stop trying to crush my dreams, you animals. Diablo 2 and D2 Lord. The only time in my childhood where I voluntarily woke up at 5 AM. Go to the cow runs mom. NM cows no king. Shadow of the Colossus. 10/10ths would play again. 10/10ths would play again. Shadow of the Colossus is the first game where I wish to forget that I ever played it. To erase all memory of it, so that I can experience it anew. I wouldn't know anything, and I would just dive into the game and live through all of it again. Sadly, that is not possible. I really wish it was. It's the only game I ever replayed all the way through multiple times. It really doesn't matter if you've played it, because there's not much of a story and you forget the Colossus' weak spots pretty quickly. It's mostly about the visuals and the fun of climbing giant monsters and riding a horse in a beautiful setting. But yes, experiencing it anew would be wonderful. Mass Effect 2. It was so heartbreaking to lose a squad mate in the finale and know that it was all your fault. Legion's final line, something like critical error, haunted me for a long time. Just so sudden and immediate, and there's nothing you can do. I considered going back to change that scene, but I decided to leave it because it affected me so much. Made the whole thing more real. Fallout New Vegas. It was a thrill from the start to the finish. Traveling across the Mojave with no name on you, except your title and a gun, looking for Avenger Gace and a man you don't know. Being the murderer of kings and gods. Taking Vegas for yourself. A benevolent tyrant or an anarchist overlord. Kicking out the NCR and the Legion. Rallying the tribes of Vegas. Being the savior or the destroyer of the Brotherhood of Steel. Making an alliance with the Boomers, finding out the treasure of the Sierra Madre. Dealing with the science shenanigans of the Big Mount. Rallying the tribes of Zion against the White Legs. Then being the center point of the battle at the Divide. Under the banner of the old world. What causes me an extra hard on is that several characters in game cutscenes allude to the legend of the courier even before you did those actions. Or even before you finish the game. You know you're gonna be some big hit even before you do everything there is to do in this game. Amazing. Edit. For all you guys who couldn't play the game due to bugs, you guys need to get the Steam version and check out New Vegas Nexus for unofficial patches. The first Fallout game I ever played was New Vegas. I expected a shooter and was disappointed when I started. But after the first moral choices I was hooked. Played it with every fraction, just to see what could happen. Played it as a nice guy and as a peen, and it felt like a different game. It has so much more replay value than FO4 in my opinion. BioShock. Would you kindly? The replay value in BioShock 1 is actually damn high. Sure. The story will always be the same. But you can try out different weapon plus mid tonic combinations every time, and probably never get sick of it. You want to be a wrench swinging ice devil? Go for it. You want to set the city on fire while bursting through with a fully upgraded shotgun? Do it. Play Splicer Ping Pong with cyclone traps and contact mines? Definitely. Oh good. I need to play it again. Chrono Trigger. Hands down the best RPG ever made. There are two types of people, those that love Chrono Trigger and those that are wrong. Super Smash Bros. Melee. The 9th of September 10 for Battlefield Ledges. If you wanna take arbitrary points off for jank, then Melee would be like a 5/10. Phantom hits. Invisible ceilings. Game & Watch being half complete. Peach chain grab on spices on FD. But it is the best fighting game ever, and the jank it just makes it more exciting. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. With the all-time best boss fight in any game. We all know which one I'm talking about. The first time I played it was in the middle of the night. And even though I was 18 at the time, I was hit scared. Was I supposed to continue? How do I fight a boss that I can't shoot? Eventually I learned I just had to push on. And eventually that damn ladder ended. What a thrill. GoldenEye. Nothing remarkable nowadays. But it was groundbreaking and laid the foundation for pretty much every FPS. This and Perfect Dark were amazing. I still think Perfect Dark never got the glory it deserved. Assassin's Creed 2. It was just a perfect mix of action, stealth and RPG for me. I played the rest of Easiest Story 3 and Black Flag and none of them have come close. It's the last sandbox I played that I truly enjoyed. Rome was such an inspired choice as location. It was somewhere I truly wanted to explore, and the city truly felt alive. Fantastic experience. Edit. Act 2 was Florence and Venice with Brotherhood being Rome. Forgive my bad memory as I played both of them quite close together still. Renaissance Italy was an inspired choice as a setting. Ezio's mom, you need to have an outlet. Ezio, I have an outlet. Ezio's mom, other than Vags. Ezio, can I come in? Christina, only for a minute. Ezio, a minute is all I need. Christina, indeed. Ezio, that came out wrong. StarCraft. The early Korean StarCraft scene is probably going to be known as the grandfather of competitive esports. StarCraft's legacy will live for a very, very long time. It's also one of the most meticulously balanced and skill-based games of all time. Great game overall. I wish all companies were like Blizzard. WoW and StarCraft are two of the best games ever. And then they have Diablo and Hearthstone, which could both be argued to be extremely important to gaming. Hearthstone was a pioneer on many fronts, with Overwatch becoming massive. Blizzard isn't perfect, but I'd be lying if I said they don't produce high quality games. It's also one of the most meticulously balanced and skill-based games of all time. Granted, much of the balance was done from map builders' side as well, since 1.08 was the last balance patch and the scene came up with pretty groundbreaking new strategies for a decade after that. Super Metroid. I was 7 when my brothers and I got it. And it was the first time I stayed up till daybreak playing a game. Edit. Thanks for the gold. My first. Super Metroid still holds up. Extremely solid game. A masterclass in atmosphere and tension. If anybody says that video games can't be serious art, duck and show them Super Metroid. Final Fantasy Tactics. This duck-in game. When I first got it, I was fresh off FF7. I was a child. Bought it used. And it didn't come with a booklet. Anyway, I thought I was going to be getting another turn-based RPG. When I loaded that game up and played for a few minutes and realized what the game was, I remember asking myself if I had just made a huge mistake. After giving it a real try, I was hooked. The job system, story, vast amount of abilities and combination of those abilities, the sounds of the defeated enemies and summons, all of it so satisfying. Still today my hands down favorite game. Quite possibly one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely a defining game of my childhood. My first playthrough. I knew there were different classes, but I could not figure out how to change them. I was like 10 years old. Give me a break. Anyways, I finished the entire game with only squires. Dishonored. Superb sense of place. Interesting mechanics. Good story. Was both fun to play and compelling. Edit. A word. I just wish there was a medium chaos option. Sometimes I want to be a little dark. But not play as 8 Stab McGenocide. That's my band name now. Dark Souls, the original one. Dark Souls is a weird one. Definitely one of my favorite games of all time. But not without flaws. Lost Izalith especially comes to mind. When almost everything else was so well thought out. The obviously rushed Lost Izalith was a disappointment. That being said, fighting gigantic dragon asses was certainly original. Is give it a 9 to 9.5 just because of the unfinished areas of he game. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Pinnacle of the series and the pinnacle of side scrollers. Ima just to hype you up with a little something called Bloodstained. Check it out.